broad day bootings, anywhere goes I won't think twice. Tryna get man got when I rise this mock, man no only aim up high. If I step in the step, it's a different thing. When I step, I'm tryna take lives. I'm gonna do this proper, and it's cool no stop. Don't lack the safe thing, you don't wanna stress your mother. I'll do it like I'm down for the cool, so I'm picking up things like picking up.
The Alice is making it so worse. The ad-libs is making this song more dangerous. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, do it different. Without further ado, though. Cue the intro, dude. Today we got UK drill.
An 18-year-old has been killed.
Australian drill. Gang Doc live and do it different. I bet I'm responding to a text. Yeah, but we gonna I'm doing it live because I feel like the video would take too long. I know a lot of Australian, UK niggas. I know they sleep right now, but I'm still gonna react to it because I do it different. But yeah, we gonna get straight into this motherfucker. No cuts, no. This is gonna be raw, uncut, unedited. Like, we just gonna go straight in. We gonna drop this motherfucker as soon as I'm done. Going live and do it different. Without further ado, though, let's get into it.
And another two
man has been murdered in Sydney's
a
West
week after the deadly stabbing of a 17-year-old.
Disclaimer: this is not for kids. Do not watch this if you 20 and under. 18 and under,
now,
rather.
Sydney is one of the most well-known cities in the world, and is in fact the capital of New South Wales. And whilst a lot of people confuse Sydney as the capital of Australia, this is actually false, as the capital of Australia is Canberra. As of 2022, Sydney was home to around 5.2 million people currently living in and around the city. Sydney is best known for its popular tourist destinations, an example being
So we can get back to recording.
shot, stabbed, and killed, with a spotlight then being shone on the young rappers on both sides of the rivalry. This subsequently resulted in the Australian drill scene exploding, and turning these young Aussie drillers into superstars overnight. This being the bloody and deadly gang war between an alliance of street gangs based around the inner west of Sydney and greater western Sydney. Prominent gangs from inner west being Proper 60, G40, and MOB. Although I'll speak about other inner west gangs later on within this video. These inner west gangs then rivaling the street gangs from greater western Sydney, which is home to multiple prominent gangs.
And the Australian drill, and African drill, even the African drill niggas, I did not know. Outside of the United States, it was actually motherfuckers was getting into it though. Not getting into it though, but getting into it this bad. I feel like shit like this only happens in certain areas of the United States. And the main one is New York. Niggas in New York be stabbing niggas all the time. And niggas in my city never stabbed a nigga. They do it. If they stabbed that nigga, that's because they ain't had a pole on them. But niggas in other cities, they be going, not in other cities, but in other countries, y'all. Cause I ain't gonna lie, it's way more gangster to stab a nigga than shoot a nigga. It's it takes a few seconds to shoot a nigga. You gotta YouTube. We on YouTube. You do it different.
Including 1-4, LF70, and RFA17. The rivalry between both gangs from the inner west and greater western Sydney has been playing out within the streets for around a decade, which is crazy as it was only in the last few years that rappers on both sides began making noise in the Australian drill scene. Although this wouldn't mean anything, as the rappers on each side are in a deadly feud with one another, resulting in broad daylight shootings, stabbings, and murders occurring, leading me to believe that this may be the craziest video ever made to date. But without further ado, let's get into one of, if not the craziest gang rivalries I've spoke about on this channel.
Yo, need to be stopped, bro.
G40, now 21 district.
a teenager has died outside Blacktown Police Station.
So to begin with, the first alliance of gangs is based around Greater Western Sydney, this being a large region that makes up the larger Sydney. The Greater Western area of Sydney is home to an alliance of gangs, more specifically based around the postcode that begins with 27, mainly around the Mount Druitt area. The gangs I'll be talking about include NF14, based around Mount Druitt. This gang is more popularly known as 1-4, the NF14 gang being based around the 2770 postcode, LF70 also based around the 2770 postcode, RFA17 once again being from the 2770 postcode, and finally Section 60 from nearby St. Mary's. For simplicity's sake, I, like many others, will refer to these collections of crews as 27 District, or just 27, as the postcode begins with 27, although the alliance of gangs also goes by other names. Other gangs are known to be affiliated with the gangs from 27 District, although if they aren't relevant to the story, I won't really speak on them. A few streets away from the Greater West allied gangs,
you know I'm not editing this out the video, right?
This being
like no bullshit, I'm not editing this out the video, so they heard all the little fuck shit you be saying.
Doonside, which is in fact based in the 27 postcode. It's important to note, however, that this 6-7 gang is not affiliated with the 27 district gangs, but instead the 6-7 gang is affiliated with their rivals from Inner West or the 21 district. The gangs that directly rival the gangs from the 27 district is that of 21 district, which, as you could probably tell, is a group of gangs based around the 21 postcode. This then being in the Inner West of Sydney. The gangs based around the 21 district include RFL from Blacktown 2148, G40 from Guildford 2160, Proper 60 or ML60 from Maryland's 2160. This Proper 60 gang being the gang that popular rapper A Huncho hails from. These group of gangs are closely allied with one another and have a rivalry with the gangs from Mount Druitt.
An 18-year-old has been killed and another two
Man has been murdered in Sydney's
A week
West.
after the deadly stabbing of a 17-year-old.
Now, Sydney is one of the most well-known cities in the world, and is in fact the capital of New South Wales. And whilst a lot of people confuse Sydney as the capital of Australia, this is actually false, as the capital of Australia is Canberra. As of 2022, Sydney was home to around 5.2 million people currently living in and around the city. Sydney is this 6-7 gang then siding with the later in October 2015, when a 23-year-old man was beaten to death outside of a shop in Mount Druitt and was later found by passers-by a few hours after the attack. It's rumored that the man killed had alleged ties to the NF14 crew, which has more popularly become known as 1-4, with some even stating that the killer fled shortly after the brutal attack and made his way back to Blacktown, home to the 2148 street gang in the months prior. In both 2017 and 2018, the 1-4 collective began to make a huge noise in the Aussie drill scene, even beginning to make their own wave, which was not ever seen before, releasing huge tracks like Don't Want It in 2017 and What You Know in 2018.
Don't Want It, what you know.
Stabbing of a 17-year-old.
Now, Sydney is one of the most well-known cities in the world, and is in fact the capital of New South Wales. And whilst a lot of people
Don't Want It
slash
what you know
of Australia, this is actually false, as the capital of Australia is Canberra. As of 2022, Sydney was home to around 5.2 million people currently living in and around the city. Sydney is best known for its popular tourist destinations, an example being the Sydney Opera House. This alone attracts tourists from home to the 2148 street gang, RFL or MO 2018. And whilst it looked as if 1-4 could explode in P and Selly were in a pub when a brawl broke out between a group of men and the 1-4 members. Lex beat up a man until he was unconscious, before then taunting the unconscious man. Another 1-4 member known as YP used a chair leg and smashed it into a rival's head, whilst Selly repeatedly hit another man with a hammer. Now, this entire attack was caught on CCTV, thus leading to the arrests of all of the members involved. And in the end, Lex was given 4.5 years, whilst YP was given 4 years for his role in the attack, and finally Selly was given a 10-year sentence. These 3 arrests took 1-4's most prominent members off the streets, resulting in other rappers beginning to carry the 1-4 name. It's believed that around this time, a group of Inner West members from 21 were on their way home from watching a rugby match, when they were noticed by rival Greater West, 27 members. It's rumored that following this, a young member from the Greater West or 27 gang retrieved a claw hammer and beat the rival Inner West member on a train. Images surfaced following the attack showing a man with a severely bloody head. However, that is way too shocking to show on YouTube. Luckily, however, no one was seriously injured. Sadly, however, only a few months following this incident in October 2018, a member associated with 21 District would be killed by rival 27 members, resulting in get-back shootings and stabbings occurring, this being the death of Tino. On the 6th of October 2018, 20-year-old Tino Henry, who had alleged ties to the 21 District gang, would be standing with friends in an underpass near Fitzwilliam Street, which was close to Westfield, Parramatta. Tino and his friends were noticed by rival gang members from the Greater West crew, alleged to have been the LF70 gang, with a massive brawl then ensuing. Sadly, during this fight, Tino was stabbed multiple times with the wounds he sustained proving to be fatal. As upon emergency services arrival on the scene, he was treated before he was rushed to Westmead Hospital, in which he sadly died a few hours later. Only a few minutes following the stabbing, 3 young men were arrested on nearby Hassall Street. The 3 men arrested were a 17-year-old who was charged with the murder and was refused bail, a 20-year-old, and a 16-year-old who was later released from police custody, with it being rumored that in the end, the LF70 member was given 3 years for the murder of Tino, as he was under the age of 18. Rest in peace, Tino Henry. Following Tino's death, the 1-4 gang was completely exploding in the Australian drill scene, with the collective dropping the track titled What You Know around 20 days following Tino's death. This track currently sitting on around 3.6 million views, which was very good for an Australian drill rapper. This track currently sitting on around 3.6 million views, which was very good for an Australian drill rapper. At the beginning of 2019, 1-4 released the popular track titled Shanks and Shivs, which also gained a lot of attention, sitting on around 4 million views. It would actually be
I ain't even gonna too much put that on there.
Yo,
if y'all want me to react to that, put that in the comments
section below. Which was released in March
below.
2019 and featured multiple disses towards Tino and the 21 District gang. An example was when JM rapped,
Shanks and
"I'm
Shivs
proud
is
to
crazy."
say to this day forward that the 7 put an op on a shirt." This line referencing the murder of Tino and how 27 District members were responsible. Later in the track, YP rapped the line, 21 what? But 1 got knocked. Ha, I guess that makes them 20. This also being a diss toward Tino. The death of Tino was thought to have resulted in retaliation attacks, one of these being in 2019, when a member associated with the 27 gang recorded himself chasing the Inner West rapper Jay Lex in Guildford. Luckily, Jay Lex made it out alive, but hours later he would arm himself and would travel to Mount Druitt with his brother in order to get back. The Inner West members, including Jay Lex, traveled to Mount Druitt in multiple cars. The members noticed a few 27 District members, and what followed this was a massive brawl in a car park. Jay Lex and his brother were both stabbed multiple times in a deadly and vicious attack, with both being rushed to hospital. However, both Jay Lex and his brother went on to survive the attack. This violent incident was later mentioned in YP from 1-4's track titled Ben 10, in which he mentioned the incident, rapping,
Run up, get chef, lock At least he tried his best. 1-4.
Now, remember I said that 1-4 had released a track titled The Message.
His best. 1-4.
Now, remember I said that 1-4 had released
Yo, gang, y'all never. Alright.
a track titled The
bullshit.
Message. Well, in July 2019,
bullshit. That's
21
what it
District
is.
released a
Do it
direct
different.
response to this track titled The Reply. This song gained a massive
The
amount of
Reply is
attention
crazy.
as both
Yo,
gangs
these
were now
niggas got
warring it out in the public
nasty
eye. The Reply
titles for
currently
these-
sits
this
at an impressive
song.
3.2 million views. A few days following the
The
release
Reply
of
is
The
crazy.
Reply,
Like,
Spenny from 1-4
the message,
got into
The
an
Reply.
argument online
Come
with
on,
a 21
hold that.
District member who had made fun of Spenny's dead mum.
That's
Spenny
better
then
than The
traveled
Message.
onto
You do it
Guildford, which
different.
was 21 District's block, and made a
We
series
gotta
of
react to
snaps on
that,
the
The
block
Reply.
block,
That shit
dissing
sound
his
crazy.
rivals. He then left after 25 minutes of lurking on his rival block. During this time,
ain't
1-4
tryna
had
see
released
no
their track
Drake.
titled Spot the Difference, which was an
the
instant
fuck
hit
the
and blew up
Drake?
almost
No.
instantly, currently sitting on around 20 million views,
Reply is
which is
crazy.
crazy as no one had really gained this success in the Australian drill scene. However, what a lot of fans didn't know about was the ongoing gang feud that was only going to get more deadly as the years go on, with another
just go ahead
violent
and do one
incident
of these,
occurring in
though.
the summer months of 2020. On the 28th of August
Locked in
2001,
now.
with another violent incident occurring in the summer months of 2020. On the 28th of August 2020, at around 9:45 p.m., a member of the LF70 gang from 27, known under the street name Junes, was walking with a friend on Church Street when he was noticed by rivals from the alleged KTV gang. A verbal altercation then ensued. However, the argument slowly escalated, with Junes then attempting to run away. However, he was chased down by the attackers and was stabbed multiple times all over his body. Following the attack, the assailants then fled the scene, with emergency services arriving on scene shortly after. Junes was rushed to hospital and luckily went on to survive the attack. Now, not much is known about what happened following this, but what is known is that around this time in 2020, Section 60 members from 27 District were kidnapped by Inner West Youngers and forced to deny involvement. They were also told to say, Inner West on top. This entire incident was recorded and uploaded onto social media, where it has since gained thousands of views. At the end of 2020, 1-4 linked up with the UK rappers Headie One, AJ Tracey, and Stormzy. This song was titled Ain't It Different Remix, and as you can guess, this was a remix to Headie One's popular track Ain't It Different with AJ Tracey and Stormzy. The remix was taken well and currently sits on around 2.8 million views. This then shining a bigger spotlight on the Australian drill movement, with commenters beginning to turn their heads towards 1-4 and the Aussie drill scene. In March 2021, Demons, who was associated with the 21 District gang, released a track titled Cyber Violence. Now, this track gained quite a bit of attention, and it really looked as if Demons could blow in the scene. However, just under a month following this release, he got himself caught up in a case that saw him stabbing a rival 7 times in broad daylight on CCTV. In April 2021, Demons, who was associated with 21 District, noticed a rival LF70 member who was sitting on the ledge of a counter. Both Demons and his friend then approached the rival LF70 member, asking him where he is from. And in a shocking turn of events that was caught on CCTV, Demons and his friend began attacking the LF70 member, stabbing him up to 7 times in his neck, back, and chest with a box cutter. The LF70 member was rushed to hospital and luckily went on to make a recovery following the attack, with Demons then being apprehended by police hours later. Demons ended up only serving a year in a juvenile detention for this stabbing. He was later released in 2022 and went on to directly talk about the incident in an interview in which he was asked about it, and he said,
"Can you tell me about the stabbing that you were involved in? What happened there?"
You know, just personal beef, just had a problem with one of my brothers, and one thing went to another. It was over me or him, you know, he's in the wrong area at the end of the day.
It was actually only a few months following this almost fatal stabbing that a younger that was allegedly associated with the Greater West Gang Section 60 and 1-4 would be stabbed to death following a brawl, thus leading to 2022 becoming an extremely dangerous year between these large street gangs in Sydney.
An 18-year-old has been killed and another 2 teenagers are fighting for life after a late-night brawl in Sydney's west.
On the 1st of September 2021, 18-year-old Orbski, who was rumoured to have been an associated of the QSB set, which was based around St. Mary's, and was allied with other 27 gangs. Anyways, on the 1st of September 2021, Orbski and a few friends were walking in Blacktown. They were noticed by alleged rivals from the MOB gang, which was a crew based around Blacktown. A massive brawl then broke out in the streets, with members on both sides retrieving knives. Sadly, however, Orbski was stabbed multiple times in this brawl, with 2 other 15-year-olds also sustaining knife wounds as a result of the deadly brawl.
Them niggas be saying knives, no, them niggas got swords as big as this. These niggas got swords as big as this, talking about these is knives? Fuck no, that's not a knife, bro.
Orbski was rushed to a hospital, but sadly was pronounced dead a few hours later. Both 15-year-olds went on to luckily survive the attack, with police then launching a murder investigation hours after the attack. Several people were arrested after the murder. This included 4 17-year-olds and even a 14-year-old. However, I couldn't find who was found guilty and charged. Rest in peace, Orbski. Dozens of tributes poured in following Orbski's death, with people from all over the internet showing their love to him. A few witnesses to the crime would later come out. 16-year-old who was beaten to death in Doonside only a few weeks earlier, around a few streets away from where the deadly brawl occurred that claimed Orbski's life. However, this is just alleged and isn't confirmed. Rest in peace, Orbski. Over a month following the death of Orbski, on the 29th of November 2021, a group of Proper 60 or ML60 members. As a quick note, Proper 60 is a gang that is based around Maryland's 2160. This Proper 60 gang being allied with other Inner West gangs and having a rivalry with gangs like 1-4, LF70, and RFA-17. You may know the Proper 60 gang as A Huncho, actually reps it. Anyways, on the 29th of November, a group of Proper 60 members would be walking outside the World Gym in Western Sydney when a group of 1-4 members noticed the rivals, unleashing what was described as a hail of bullets onto the Proper 60 members, the bullets narrowly missing young children that were playing in a daycare. However, Murat, who was a close friend of A Huncho, was shot in the leg with his bone appearing to shatter on camera. Although luckily he survived the shooting, this entire incident was caught on CCTV and was one of the most shocking things I've watched, with it being reported that around 18 bullets were shot toward the proper 60 members. Now, multiple other tit-for-tat incidents occurred between the gangs following the shooting. However, I'll only really be speaking on the most well-known incidents, as so much has happened within this gang rivalry in Sydney. The next incident in the beef, however, was an extremely brutal and vicious home invasion that occurred in the first few months of 2022. On the 5th of April 2022, a group of RFA members got the drop on a rival's 6-7 members home from Doonside at around 2:30 a.m. CCTV showed a car containing the RFA members driving down Cameron Street in Doonside. 6 members of the RFA gang then got out of the car and walked towards a home that belonged to an alleged 6-7 member known as Razy. The RFA members then broke into the home and attacked Razy's brother Star. In the CCTV recorded on the street, you can actually hear Star screaming after he had been stabbed, followed by his dad then rushing.
Most of y'all niggas be like, y'all go on one side and then y'all just pick that side. No, fuck no. Like, fuck no. Especially if you're not like actively stabbing niggas or actively like beefing with niggas. Like, no, give me the ops too.
In to check on him. This being when the RFA members turned their attention toward his dad, stabbing him as well. It's then believed that his mom ran in before she was also stabbed badly. With the RFA members fleeing shortly after the triple stabbing, Star, his dad, and his mom were rushed to hospital, where they made a steady recovery following the attack. The occupants then told police that 4 people armed with knives stormed the home, with police then establishing that the group first assaulted Star before his mom and dad rushed to his aid, in which the mom and dad were both stabbed. Luckily, however, they survived. Police then treated the home as a crime scene and collected forensic evidence, leading to the arrests of the teens involved days later. This triple stabbing was later referenced in unreleased RFA tracks, in which the rappers rapped, Now, following this almost fatal triple stabbing, the Sydney Royal Easter Show was beginning to get in session from the 8th of April until the 19th of April 2022. If you didn't know, this show was annually held and was highly anticipated.
I don't give a fuck about his mom because she got stabbed too. What? What's wrong with you?
Each year for its entertainment. One of the people working at this show was 17-year-old Uwati Pele Falatolu, who was working on the breakdance ride. And whilst it looked up for Uwati, who was even having a child, sadly on the 11th of April 2022, only 6 days after the triple stabbing that had occurred, Uwati was sadly stabbed to death at the Royal Easter Show. On the 11th of April 2022, at around 8 p.m., a group of RFA members would be attending the Royal Easter Show. It's believed that a massive brawl broke out at the show, resulting in people being attacked, and it was believed that during this brawl, Uwati was stabbed multiple times in the chest by a group of RFA members. It's rumored that Uwati's 15-year-old relative was also in attendance, and upon hearing the news that Uwati had been stabbed, his 15-year-old relative began chasing a group of 3 around with a knife, before he then went on to be arrested, with a video even emerging showing the arrested screaming 6-7 mother. This being a reference to the 6-7 gang from the 2767 postcode that has a rivalry with 1-4 and other allied gangs. Uwati was rushed to hospital but was sadly pronounced dead moments later, with a murder investigation being launched. Now, before I continue, it's believed that Uwati wasn't in fact a gang member, but allegedly knew a few members from the 6-7 gang, thus sadly making him a target. But either way, rest in peace, Uwati. My thoughts and prayers go out to his friends and family. Following the death of Uwati, his killers went on.
The thing about it that most motherfuckers don't understand is like, bro, you chose to be in this lifestyle, so like you gotta accept everything that come with it. If you die, you die, nigga. If you go to jail, you go to jail. Like, you gotta accept everything that come with this motherfucking shit, because you chose to. Like, it's not like you chose. Like, I can't keep saying that. It's like, if you been in this lifestyle, you know what the fuck come with this shit. So why you, like, I don't understand why motherfuckers be like, oh yeah, when I say like, oh yeah, free that man. Oh, why you saying free that man? He killed like this, that, and the third. Like, niggas didn't choose to be in this shit, bro. Like, this shit was not chosen, bro. Like, that's what motherfuckers don't understand. They do it different. But anyway, we're gonna get back to this reaction.
My thoughts and prayers go out to his friends and family. Following the death of Uwati, his killers went on the run and would begin to rap about the crime, with an alleged 14-year-old member of the RFA gang, even going on to remix Tay K's track titled The Race, that was rapped by the alleged 14-year-old RFA member. Now, in July 2022, after a few months of being on the run, Uwati's killers were arrested. This included a 14-year-old among the 3 teens arrested. Police made the arrests after watching hundreds of hours of CCTV footage, phone data, and social media. All 3 have gone on to be charged with the murder. However, I couldn't find if they were sentenced or not. Uwati was described as a happy and outgoing man with a loving heart. He was a caring brother, a loyal friend, and a selfless son and partner. Rest in peace, Uwati Pele Faletolu. It was in the months following Uwati's death that members from the LF70 gang began to release music that gained loads of attention. In June 2022, the LF70 collective released the track titled Pine Grove, which currently sits on around 385,000 views. Now, remember I spoke about the shooting that 1-4 members carried out on Proper 60 members, hitting A. Huncho's friend, Murat, in the leg. Well, Murat decided to flee Australia to Turkey in July 2022, after a large amount of money was put on his head. In September 2022, however, he would sadly die following a heart attack after a gym session, with news of his death hitting Sydney very quickly. Rest in peace, Murat. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends. Even though Murat didn't die due to any rivalry, his opposition often mention him, with A. Huncho carrying his name in a more positive light, often shouting him out in his songs. At the beginning of 2023, LF70 were making serious noise within the streets of Western Sydney, releasing the track titled Ching. This currently sitting on an impressive 500,000 views. They wouldn't stop there and released the track titled Run Up in October 2023. This also gaining a good amount of attention, currently sitting on around 200.
The names of their songs is crazy to me. Like, who just like, you gotta be a psychotic motherfucker to just come up with names like this. You gotta be a psychotic genius. Let me start there. You gotta be a psychotic genius though, because then them niggas dropped the Ops dropped a diss song called the what's that shit called? What that shit was called again? Fuck. Let me look in the comment section. Hold up. They dropped the diss song called The Message. Them niggas said, The Message? They said, The Message? Well, this is the reply. Fuck, nigga. This is the reply, fuck, nigga. Come on.
25,000 views. Now, RFA17 also released one of their first songs around this time, releasing the track titled Traumatized in December 2023, with people beginning to watch the scene once again. Blanco, who is a well-known UK drill rapper from Kennington, even took a liking to the track, posting it on his story and showing love to the RFA17 collective. Now, it's believed that during this time, Razy from 6'7" was set up by a girl, who had subsequently given his location to rival RFA17 members, who followed him in a car for a few minutes on camera, making threats toward him. Luckily, however, he managed to get out alive. As of recently, YP from 1-4 would be released from prison, following that 2018 attack on rivals. Upon his release only mere weeks later, he became a priest and decided to give his life to God, instead of living the gang life, thus leading to him quitting the music scene. This always being the best outcome from this road life, as realistically, the gang life only ever leads to jail or death, and rarely anything positive. He would actually appear in an interview in which he spoke about changing his life, and even spoke about a murder plot against him, this plot being foiled by police in January 2024.
Does the past and this murder plot concern you? Does it worry you?
Wasn't surprised, I guess. I knew that people wanted my life, rightfully so. I've done wrong to certain people, and at their own due time I hope they can forgive me, but I was young and dumb, and
In March 2024, RFA17 members released the music video to their popular track titled First Thing First. This music video also contained another track titled Trazil. Now, this song gained quite a lot of attention, just showing that these youngins are the future of Australian drill. And whilst it looked as if these young rappers could make it out of the streets, just under a month following this release, another person would sadly be killed as a result of Sydney's endless gang war. As of most recently, on the 12th of April 2024, members alleged to be from the 27 District Allied Gang would notice 18-year-old Iza Naden, who was also known as Zaya. Zaya and his older brother would be stabbed multiple times by the members. Both Zaya and his brother were rushed to hospital. Sadly, however, Iza Naden, or Zaya, was pronounced dead at Blacktown Police Station moments later. Following this, a murder investigation was launched, with the people that supposedly committed the crime going on to brag about it on Instagram Live, these lives being recorded and saved. In the end, however, 3 teens were arrested and charged for the murder. Rest in peace, Iza Naden or Zaya. Now, it's not known if Zaya Zaya was involved in any gangs, with some people claiming he was close with 6-7 members, and some saying he was a civilian and didn't in fact have any gang rivalries. Either way, however,
thank you,
rest in
Avea's
peace,
mom, though.
Zaya. Since the death of Zaya, however, nothing else has really occurred within the beef, with a lot of the tit-for-tat incidents going unnoticed and not even being reported in the news. Now, if you have learned anything from this video, however, make sure that it is to stay out of the streets, as this gang lifestyle that you see these rappers living often only leads to jail or death. Oftentimes these rappers have lost most of the people around them to the roads, and have to live the harsh reality of constantly being cautious, this furthering the point that this life is not worth it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, as it helps out the channel.
Yo, I got a few thoughts after that video. Like, he said, like, yeah, this life not worth it, this and the third, but like, if niggas didn't know nothing, like, they're just like, let me put this in perspective. That's just like just like you teaching without further ado though. Cue the intro, dude.